that you never knew existed.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. Weekend should always be happy. Welcome to the Weekend Review podcast. Do this every Saturday morning, almost every Saturday morning. Things do come up from time to time. But do try and do this every Saturday morning, cover the past week, any news that I may have missed yesterday after Badlands Daily. So if you're new here, be sure to check out Badlands Media. I do a show over there every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, covering all the daily news and then a bunch of other shows. And of course, I've got some fantastic colleagues over there who do incredible shows as well. So check out Badlands Media. That's my first sip of coffee this morning. That is my first sip of coffee right there. Oh, that feels amazing. All right. So now that we're ready to really go, there's a lot that happened this week. And, you've got everything from the Supreme Court ruling to the first Epstein arrest, down to the SAVE Act. Congress is out, or the Senate is on recess, like just a whole bunch of stuff to talk about this morning. Kill some time here. Letting people come in as the notifications start going off. And there we go. Jump in the chat. Good morning, Rain. Good morning, Toker Joe. Good morning from Albuquerque, the a-hole of America. Albuquerque's not that bad. Come on, there's no place in America that's a-hole. If you actually look at America and try and personify it, California would be the a-hole. Like, I feel like New England would be the head. Florida would be the appendage hanging down. And California would be the backside. It would be the a-hole, right? And California is an a-hole state. It's a beautiful state, but it's just got some bad politics. I don't want to jump in and start ripping on my Californians out there. Although I don't think you guys are listening here. It's 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. in California. You guys might be listening. Anybody from California out there? Anybody? I don't know. All right. And then welcome to the folks over on YouTube as well. We've got some listeners over on X, I can see. And let's go ahead and jump into the news. If you have not done so yet, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. And if you're new, give us a follow, or give me a follow. And let's jump into it, man. This one really hurt, dude. This one really hurt, man. Robert Duvall, one of the all-time greats. I loved Robert Duvall. Days of Thunder, of course, The Godfather. Just Robert Duvall, Gone in 60 Seconds, right? He was in Gone in 60 Seconds, wasn't he? No. Yeah, he was in Gone in 60 Seconds, yeah. He was Memphis Reigns' kind of mentor, the old guy that taught him, right? Yeah, man. I think I'm going to watch Gone in 60 Seconds today now. It was such a good movie. The remake, not the original. I've never seen the original. But yeah, Robert Duvall passed away. We also had Jesse Jackson pass away. Robert Duvall was 95. Jesse Jackson, 84. President Trump had some words on behalf of Jesse Jackson. Some kind words, actually, for the very racist president. They all loved him a long time ago. Yeah, lots of Duvall movies, Nuke. A ton. Sling Blade. Yeah. Oh, we got Polaris Spark. Polar Eye Spark, or Polar is Park. I don't know what happened with that name. I don't know. Port Charlotte. Oh, that's my neck of the woods. You're on the left coast, but that's okay. Port Charlotte's awesome. I love Port Charlotte. Good friend of mine from the Marine Corps is from there. Seems you insulted a few of us from California. Aeolus, I don't think you're insulted. California is one of the most beautiful states in the country. You guys have awful politics. I've been to San Diego. I've been to San Francisco. I've been to 29 Palms, the Mojave. Not nice out there. But broadly, California is so gorgeous. But you guys got stolen elections, and you can't get yourselves out of it. I'm trying trying, helping, do everything I can. Nick Shirley's got 23 million views on his video about the corruption, the election fraud corruption out there in California. So, maybe eventually we'll get something done out there. Speaking of California, this is a story that a lot of folks are talking about right here. Excuse me, from Fox News. 8 skiers found dead, 1 missing, presumed dead after massive Lake Tahoe avalanche. 8 skiers dead. 6 of them are mothers. I guess they were on like a backcountry skiing trip together. I'm not sure. And that's just absolutely, oh man, that is unbelievable, for something like that to happen. They were in a place called Donner's Summit in Lake Tahoe. And I looked this up over the weekend during the week. I looked this up, and it is actually named after the Donner Party. And, the party that was crossing the United States in the gold rush, 1846 era. And of course, we know that most of them perished. Half of them perished. I think there was like 80 in that party, and I think only like 40 some odd made it out alive. Cannibalism, all sorts of things. I did watch a documentary on it one time. Interesting. They tried to eat like shoe leather and everything else before the unfathomable eating fellow human beings. But yeah, I don't know that I would ever go on a vacation in a place called Donner's Summit, named after that horrible, tragic event. So, God bless those families. Absolutely terrible. Here's another terrible story here. Just the news. Do not wonder why we go berserk. Rhode Island hockey rink shooting, latest tied to trans ideology. I saw somebody put out on X that transgender people have killed, I want to say it was like 10 times more people than ICE in this year alone, or in the last year, calendar year, 365 days, not 2026 versus 2025. I shouldn't say calendar year. I should say timeline year, fiscal year. I don't know. Something like that. 365 days. In the last 365 days, trans individuals have killed more people than ICE. So there's that. Now, this one's interesting. I mean, it's absolutely tragic. This guy goes to, and he is a guy. This guy was a guy. He goes to his son's senior day hockey match. Senior day in high school. Glorious day, right? Hey, what do we get to do today? We get to go play hockey, man. It's senior day. We get to have the school come and support us, and everybody's going to show up, and it's our way of saying, goodbye to everybody and just having an awesome day. And this scumbag does that. And this guy, I mean, he wasn't even making an effort. Well, he made an effort. He made a surgical effort. But like outside of that, this guy looked like a burly biker dude. In fact, I think he was a burly biker dude. You look at some of the pictures here, and I mean, yeah, there he is, a little enduro bike. I mean, what the bleep, man? You're not fooling anybody, dude. You're not fooling anybody. He kind of looks like, is he the one that went into like that Star Wars store and the guy was like, "You have a dick," and he's like, "It's ma'am, it's ma'am." Kind of looks like that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let me see if I can find that story. Trans Star Wars ma'am. Let me see if I can find this story. Do you guys remember the story I'm talking about? This was probably like a year and a half ago or so. And that wasn't in Rhode Island. This was in Rhode Island, so I doubt it's the same guy. Okay, probably not the same guy. But anyways, yeah, so he kills his son, his wife, his ex-wife, and injures 2 other family members and a family friend. I haven't heard any updates on them yet, and then he turned the gun on himself and killed himself. Now he was quote unquote MAGA. He was a Trump supporter. He is he had spoken openly, on social media, responded to Alex Jones and, some of the others about being MAGA and how trans people will go to the death. They will fight to the death for children and protect them and everything else. And then you kill your own. You kill your own kids on a day that's supposed to be a celebration. It is absolutely a disease. Anybody that says it's not is doing an injustice to everybody else. Okay, Polaris Park got clarification. Is doing an injustice to everybody else. I think it was Ash and I kind of talked about this, and I've talked about this before, but we're not designed to have the other sexes, genders like hormones. Like I would not know. I would be a mess if I had an influx of estrogen, and my wife would probably be a mess if she had an influx of testosterone. He would probably, we spend years of our lives honing that ability to control your emotions and control your impulses and control your outrage and control those kinds of things. And women do the same with controlling, emotions. Estrogen tends to make you more emotional. Testosterone tends to make you more aggressive. And that's just, that is literally the epitome of what every species is. The male is the protector, the alpha males, right? And then the females are, I have some people get offended by this. Like 5 years ago, people would have been offended by this, but now I think everybody's kind of coming around to this idea that the man should be the breadwinner and the mom the wife should be the homemade caretaker, right? They should be the one that's keeping the home in order, and it's fine to have a job. It's great. My wife actually worked harder than I did for a long time. She had 2 jobs and was working probably 60 hours a week, and I was doing this, but that's not ideal. That's not how it's supposed to work. Consumerism, corporatism has pushed us in the direction to where women are now required almost to go out and get a job unless the husband is fortunate enough to have like some insane job where he's making $200,000 a year or whatever the case might be. And now consumerism, consumptionism, I'm making that word up, I think, consumptionism is teaching us to go out there, and everybody has to work because you have to be able to keep up with the Joneses. You have to be able to have the same things that your neighbor has and the newest iPhone and the greatest TV. And you got to get, you got to replace so many of your things. Like we have a couch right now that we bought during COVID. So 2021, 2022, somewhere around there. And we got to replace it already. Spent $3,000 on it. And the thing's a piece of junk. It's, and it was a nice couch. It's got 3 recliners. It's the L shaped and all that. But this is the thing, like they push us in that direction. And so I'm going off on a long tangent here of a roundabout way of saying that giving the opposite sex's hormones is one of the dumbest ideas I could ever think of. The only thing dumber than that would be the rule the VA just tried to pass. I don't know if you guys saw this. I should probably write something up on this. The VA tried to pass a rule this week that in order for a veteran to be considered for a disability rating, they have to show that while they are medicated, that disability, they can't overcome it. So in other words, if you have PTSD, right? I have PTSD. If you have PTSD and you take their medications and you don't have the symptoms of PTSD, you're no longer disabled. And so it is encouraging. It's not encouraging. It's requiring veterans to take the chemical concoctions that they've been trying to force down our throats for the last 20 years since OIF started. And the first guys, kind of EAS'd and separated from service. And so the VA tried and failed, or something else. So they tried, they passed the rule. From what I understand, like they did it very questionably. There was no public comment, no public discussion or anything along those lines. But then they suspended it. Doug Collins came out and suspended it. I don't know I got to do some more research on this, but I saw somebody had posted it in my Marine group, and then another person had posted it that Doug Collins walked it back. He might not have even been aware of it. And that's the thing. A lot of these events take place. These bureaucrats do things that the head of that department is not aware of. So I mean, this happens quite often. But anyways, getting back to the trans shooter, just an absolutely tragic event. And again, nobody in the media wants to touch this because the left is like, oh, it's trans, we don't want to touch this. It's a guy that had top and bottom surgery, that was on the hormones, was doing everything else, and just went berserk. His own words, which is really creepy that he said it twice in all caps, once to Alex Jones and once to, I think, like Real America's Voice or something like that. But you don't want us to go berserk. Like, whoa, dude, relax. So the left doesn't want to touch it, and the right doesn't want to touch it because he was MAGA, because he was a Trump supporter, allegedly. There's nothing making America great about murdering your family. So because apparently they don't accept you or whatever. But all right, let's move on from that. It's so stupid. And God bless the family and the two family members and the friend that are still sick or still injured, fighting for their life. Let's pray for them as well. John Kennedy put this out. President Trump signs Kennedy bill to end government payments for deceased Americans. Like, I said this on Daily. Why do we need a bill that when you're dead, the government stops paying you? It says Donald Trump signed the Kennedy's Ending Improper Payments to Deceased People Act, which will save hard-earned taxpayer money by curbing erroneous payments to individuals who have passed away, signing it into law. In 2020, he passed the bipartisan bill Stopping Improper Payments to Deceased People Act that put in place key provisions to prevent erroneous government payments to deceased individuals for 3 years. It was expected to save $330 million from 2024 to 2026. Kennedy then introduced another bill, the Ending Improper Payments, to make the temporary fix permanent. I mean, good on you, but I mean, this should be like common sense. Like, hey, taxpayer money should not go to dead people. It shouldn't go to anybody, in my opinion, like any individual. But, that's a whole nother topic that we've discussed ad nauseum. But it says Kennedy's original 2020 law directing the U.S. Social Security Administration to temporarily share its death master file, record of deceased individuals, with the Treasury Department to avoid erroneous payments. Kennedy's new bill would permanently allow the Social Security Administration to share that file with the Treasury Department's do not pay system. I mean, like, think about that. Just stop and think about that for 1 second here. Social Security Administration, Treasury Department. Social Security is paying out Social Security. Treasury Department is paying out other benefits as well. You don't, like, at no point did the Social Security Administration be like, hey, Treasury, do you guys have a death master file, or how are you guys updating your rolls, your logs to show dead people? How are you doing this? Well, we just kind of guess. When they hit 120, we take them off. Or when they, we just go through randomly and we're like, send out emails. When they stop responding, we take them off. Okay. Maybe you should try using this file that we have. Whenever somebody is pronounced dead, death certificate, everything else, we take them off. So let's share that with you. This is common sense. Common sense is an uncommon virtue. This legislation would also allow the Treasury's do not pay system to compare death information with the SSA, with personal information from other federal entities, and to share this information with any paying or administering agency authorized to use the do not pay system. I can't believe that that's like something that we actually had to sign into law. I mean, God bless, or well, not God bless, of course, but kudos to John Kennedy for getting that across. I'm just baffled that we needed it. That's my point. We needed that. That is shocking. New York Post, Labor Department watchdog flags more than $900 million in unused COVID-era benefits, demands immediate return to taxpayers. Nearly $1 billion of unemployment benefits from COVID-19 is sitting unused and ripe for fraud. You got $720 million in unemployment insurance benefits on prepaid debit cards. There's just like a warehouse full of prepaid debit cards totaling $720 million. And they're like, yeah, let's just let this sit here. We'll let some people come in here and take away, a couple of them and the fraud, no big deal. No big deal. There's another 192 million that has been moved to unclaimed property offices. Now that one's kind of strange to me. How do you have 100, and this is COVID era unemployment benefits, right? How do you have $192 million that was moved to unclaimed property offices? So if you don't know what unclaimed property offices are, if there's ever like a refund or something along those lines that is issued in your name, issued to you, and you somehow don't know about it, there are actual offices that you can go online, type in your information, and they document, they audit basically, or they maintain a list of refunds and other types of rebates that are going to you that you just don't know about or you haven't claimed. How do unemployment benefits from COVID-19 go to unclaimed property offices? If you don't claim it, you pull it back. Period. This isn't money that, technically you did pay into unemployment, but not at the scale that COVID allowed to happen. Remember COVID, everybody was like, oh, well, unemployment in Florida is only $200 a month. Well, in COVID, the federal government will make it up so you get $1,000. So we'll pay the $800 or whatever the case might be. I don't remember the specific numbers. Jump down here and it says most states allow residents to receive unemployment benefits via a prepaid debit card system, precluding the need for a bank account or to give personal info to Uncle Sam. Look, that is the playbook for fraud right there. Well, they can't get voter ID, so they shouldn't, we shouldn't require ID to vote. Well, they don't have a bank account. They don't want to give Uncle Sam their information, so we're just going to give it to them anyways. We're just going to trust them when they say that this is who they are and this is what they deserve. Whether it's an unemployment check of a few $100s or whether it's a PPP loan for a company with 200 people. We're just going to give out the prepaid debit cards. That is nuts to me. Look, I am all for not giving out your personal information to Uncle Sam. I am all for that. I totally get it. I fully understand that. However, if you choose to check out of that system where you're not giving your personal information to Uncle Sam, you don't get to then turn around and ask Uncle Sam for money. All right. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of sovereign individuals out there, and I love it. I love it. I wish that I, was able to do that. Unfortunately, over 40 years, I've gotten, we get too ingrained in the system, and it's difficult. All right. You don't volunteer anything, but they've got all your stuff, right? We've got Real ID down here in Florida. I've got a passport. I've got a social security number. They know who I am. I've got I've got a rating with the VA. They know. But if you're going to go and apply for benefits, at the very least, you got to give them your name and social. You got to prove that you're a taxpayer. You got to prove that you are a contributing member of society and not somebody, a hermit that lives off the grid in the middle of the woods and doesn't really need it in the first place. I think that is nothing more than, laying the foundation for people to be able to manipulate that system in big, big ways. And then the last part here that I want to highlight, thus far, the OIG, the Office of Inspector General's work has led to 1,800 convictions, 2,300 charges, people charged, and $2.2 billion in recovered funds. Oh, well, that's good, right? $2.2 billion in recovered funds? Not really. This is buying it back for pennies on the dollar. For example, the Small Business Administration found last year that it had dispersed $200 billion in potentially fraudulent loans across its pandemic relief programs. So they're celebrating. Hey, we got 1,800 convictions and we clawed back $2.2 billion. But just the Small Business Administration alone estimates $200 billion in fraud payments and loan payments that went out. So you did not even you barely clawed back 1% of our taxpayer money. Please remind me again why we're paying taxes. Here's another story. We'll stay on the fraud here for one more story. I think one more story. Yeah, one more story. And then we'll talk about the SAVE Act coming up here next. U.S. Department of Justice, Public Affairs, President and CEO, President of Insurance Brokerage Firm, CEO Marketing Company sentenced to $233 million Affordable Care Act with the Obamacare fraud. The reason I cover these small, well, I mean, $230 million, it's big to us. It's not big to the federal government. It's not even a drop in the bucket. It's a grain of sand on the beach for the federal government. But it's still a big deal because this happens all throughout the government, and it's not just, it's not just these isolated incidents. Those are only the people that get caught. They get sloppy, they fall in somebody's bad graces, whatever the case might be. They lose their insider man, whatever it might be. So these guys, 20 years in prison now for their role in a year-long scheme with the Affordable Cares Act. They preyed on tens of thousands of vulnerable consumers to improperly enroll them into fully subsidized Affordable Care Act plans, for which the defendant earned millions of dollars in commission payments. Corey Lloyd and Steve Strong engaged in the extensive fraud scheme, seeking over $233 million in the fraudulent plan subsidies. However, the federal government paid at least $180 million of those claims. It targeted vulnerable, low-income individuals. It's always who it targets. Why? Because nobody listens to them. Or they get a kickback. Hey, if you sign up for this ACA plan, I'll give you a $500 Visa gift card. Oh, $500. And then in 2 years, when they realize that they can't go into a hospital because they're, filed under another insurance plan or whatever the case might be, I don't know. They're like, oh, this is fraud. This is fraud. No, you enabled the fraud. You allowed it. Now, I'm not saying that's every single person here. In fact, it's probably not even most people. Most people are probably taken advantage of. For example, they go into the homeless shelter, or the hurricane shelters. All right. Strong suggested to Lloyd that the pair send street marketers into hurricane shelters in Florida. Lloyd said, that's a killer idea. If we could pull it off, I want to rape the shelters. I'm not kidding. Me either. Let's fuck them up. That was the text message exchange. Let's go in there and take advantage of people at their most vulnerable moments and crush them. So the reason, again, that I bring this up, obviously the fraud expose right now that's taking place. Sorry. Right now, the fraud expose is glorious. Like, seeing all of this being exposed is great. But I'm not seeing, I want to see more being done to prevent it in the future. And of course, the states that are suing over SNAP benefits and being able to audit these types of things is despicable. It is absolutely despicable. I tell the story. There's a guy down here in South Florida that lives in the town that we live in that was busted for Obama phone fraud. I think it was like $200 million something that he made, $600 million fraud. There was PPP fraud from COVID and everything else involved in this. And the guy got 5 years in a minimum security camp. He'll be out in 2. He's probably out already. By the time, from the time that he was convicted, time served and everything else. He's probably out already. And he's got this beautiful property. It's despicable, man. It is so disgusting. It's like you sell your soul, you get all this money. He sent $50 million over to, I think, Jordan, the country Jordan. It's despicable, man. I love to see it being exposed, but to be honest with you, the only way that you're ever going to minimize this to the point where it's acceptable is to completely eliminate a lot of these programs. A lot of these programs need to go away completely. We'll get into this more a little bit with the tariff ruling because Neil Gorsuch goes scorched earth on the administrative state. Who'd have thunk it, right? Him going on it. Let's get into the SAVE Act. So the SAVE Act has been a roller coaster. Thune wasn't backing it. Then Thune backed it. Then we had 50 votes. Then the Democrats said they won't allow it to pass because of the filibuster. Then we said we're going to get rid of the talking filibuster. Then we've got the newest updates. But let's go back first and foremost. This was Jake Tapper turning the screws on Chuck Schumer about something everybody wants to see passed.
About 83% of the American people, including majority Democrats, support voter ID laws.
They're racist.
Well, yeah, the voter ID laws that first, each state can have its own voter ID laws, and some do and some don't. But secondly, what they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0. They make it so hard to get any kind of voter ID that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poorer people and people of color, will not be able to vote under this law. We will not let it pass in the Senate. We are fighting it tooth and nail. It's an outrageous proposal that is, that shows the sort of political bias of the MAGA right. They don't want poor people to vote. They don't want people of color to vote because they often don't vote for them.
Yeah. It's outrageous to proof of citizenship, voter ID. Let me look this up real quick. In 2018, what were the key points of HR 1? So this is, I'm going to pull this up. Let me show you guys. HR 1. No, this isn't it. Where's the election law? Maybe it was 2020. For the People Act. That's what they call it. The For the People Act, not the SAVE Act, the For the People. I thought they tried to pass it in 2018 as well, but this is the 2021. Voting rights reform, automatic voter registration at government agencies. So go in the complete opposite direction, right? This is the first bill that Congress tried to pass in 2021. Automatic voter registration at government agencies, same-day registration, 2 weeks of early voting at least. It banned restrictive practices like excessive voter purges and discriminatory ID laws, while restoring voting rights for those who completed felony sentences. The last one I don't disagree with. I think once you complete your felony sentence, you should be allowed to vote again. Provisions also promoted mail-in voting, online registration updates, election security measures, campaign finance changes. I'm not concerned about that, but the bill required disclosure of dark money donors and imposed limits on foreign spending. Yeah, this is as Act Blue and WinRed are being exposed for smurfing, but yeah, keep it up. It essentially was the opposite of the SAVE Act. And so Schumer coming out and saying, the voter ID laws, like this is insane. They can't do this. They're trying to make people show ID. They're trying to show people that they have to prove their citizenship and that they're legally eligible to vote. The states should be doing all that. The states were doing that in 2021, and you guys tried to change it in 2021. Who's on the other foot now? And America broadly supports the SAVE Act. In fact, Chuck Schumer supported the SAVE Act in the 1990s. Check this clip out from, I think it was 1992.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a social security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a social security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud.
Man, Chucky Schumer sure changed his tune in the last 20 or 30 years. What could possibly cause a person to change that dramatically on something that is a foundational principle, just a common sense that you have to be a citizen in this country, and just completely flipped to, well, we don't need to prove it. The fraud, was he not on the take back then? Is he on the take now? Has he figured out how to game the system and to be able to use this for his own either financial or personal benefit? I don't know. Maybe. I think there's tremendous amounts of fraud, and things like this just allow that cycle to continue. President Trump was on board Air Force One talking about the SAVE Act and also the State of the Union. It's coming up on Tuesday, I believe.
Will you give your State of the Union speech if we're still in a shutdown next week?
Well, I think I would. Yeah. Wouldn't bother me. I would give it. Yeah.
How are the negotiations going?
With what? Which one? We have a lot of negotiations.
No, with the government shutdown.
This is a Democrat shutdown. This has nothing to do with Republicans. This is a Democrat shutdown.
The
They're upset that the crime numbers are so good. They're very unhappy that the crime numbers are so good. They're very unhappy that there's a movement for getting voter ID. They want voter ID. The population, 98%, want voter ID. They don't want voter ID because they want to cheat in elections. They also want other things. They don't want mail-in ballots. They want to end mail-in ballots, which is corrupt. And one other thing that they're insisting on is proof of citizenship. And the Democrats don't want to give proof of citizenship. They don't want to give voter ID. Think of it. Who wouldn't want proof of citizenship? I ask you, Steve. Who wouldn't want voter ID? And why would you want mail-in ballots if you know it's corrupt? It's a corrupt system. We're the only country in the world that has this system of mail-in ballots. Think of it. The only country in the world that has this system of mail-in ballots, because they cheat.
Yep.
And the fact is they could never get elected if they ever changed. They know it. If you had voter ID, if you had proof of citizenship, they could never win an election. And they know that, and they're fighting to the hill. And I put this down with men playing in women's sports. I put it down with transgender for everybody. I put it down with their horrible open border policy as being ridiculous. They don't want voter ID, no voter ID. And I put that down in the same category with men playing in women's sports. I'm going to add a fourth category. They don't want voter ID. Go ahead.
Spot on, Mr. President. Spot on. NBC News had this one out. We covered this, I think, on Wednesday. Trump's election bill tops 50 Senate votes, but Democrats could still block it. Why you need a Democrat to do it when Republicans will do it themselves? Why do you need a Democrat to do it when the Republicans will do it themselves? Mitch McConnell is now out there allegedly trying to block the bill, or he has blocked the bill. Tim Burchett put this out on X. Let's listen to this here. Whoop. There we go.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett. I saw where Mitch McConnell was blocking the SAVE Act this morning. I think it's partially just out of meanness. He doesn't like Trump. Trump got him in office, sadly enough. He helped him in that last race extensively. And that's one thing I value in this game is loyalty, and apparently he doesn't. But he's blocking the SAVE Act. Or is he? Is it him or a staff member? Because, as you know, he's a lot like Joe Biden was in his last few days in office, or last years in office, last 4 years really. His cognizant level is diminishing daily. You know, I've always remembered we had a chairman of a committee, and I asked in committee, in our conference meeting, I asked if how much money was in this bill, and she responded, "I don't know. Next question." And I said, "No. How much money is in this dadgum bill?" And his immediately staffers were like, "You can't be asking that. You can't be asking that." Well, dadgummit, this thing ain't supposed to be some retirement village. It's supposed to be the United States Congress and the Senate. But here's what it's turned into. And It is wrong. You've got staffers that are running this thing. The lady that I asked those questions of, it turns out for over 6 weeks, she never showed up and nobody knew where she was. But her staff kept running the office. And she was in a
nursing home,
retirement village for people that were in cognizant decline.
Yep.
put it lightly. And that's what's going on in Washington. You've got these staffers, again, that are too close to the lobbyists, too close to whatever, and they're running the show. And it needs to stop. I've called it out. I've called it out to our leadership, and they do nothing about it. But this is where we're at. The SAVE Act is stopped because Mitch McConnell. And he's got a staffer that's running his show.
There it is. The SAVE Act is stopped because of Mitch McConnell. He's got a staffer running the show. Let me pull up real quick. Mitch McConnell. This is the guy right here that's running the show.
Cooperation and a string of
Hey, wake up. Mitch. Hello, Clarice. He looks like the guy that ate his face off, that Anthony Hopkins, that Hannibal ate his face off, remember? You okay, dude? You okay, dude? You want to go back to your office and have some milk and cookies? You want to go back to your office and have some warm milk? Rub your feet. Rub your feet. Put your legs up and just take a nappy poo. Is it nappy time? Oh my gosh. This is where we're at, guys. This is where we're at. I wish I could say that was the first time that he'd done that. It's not. You guys remember this one?
what are my thoughts about what?
What are your thoughts about it, Mitch? Tell me about your thoughts. Hey. Oh, no, not again. Oh, no, not again.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
This is the guy blocking the SAVE Act, guys. This is the guy that's blocking a bill that 83% of Americans agree on. Agree on. 83% of us. You walk down the street, you can't get 83% of the people you pass on the street to agree on anything other than that they're walking. Are you walking? Well, actually, maybe not. I'm not walking. I'm standing still, or I'm running. 83%, and this guy's blocking it. I wonder why. We have a complete and total Congress that is run by geriatric retards. Another one here.
An interaction with two reporters, including Ben
She's dead
Oreskes
now,
of the
but
LA Times,
this was
is
real.
raising doubts.
What has the response from your colleagues been like? What have the well wishes? What have you heard?
What have I heard about what?
About your return. How have they felt about your
No,
return?
I haven't been gone.
Okay.
You should follow me. I haven't been gone. I've been working.
You've been working from home, is what you're saying?
No, I've been here. I've been voting. Please, either know or don't know.
As you heard,
Dianne Feinstein had been gone for 3 months at that point on a medical leave. And the first time she's asked about it coming back, I've been here the whole time. You mean like you've been working the whole time? No, I've been here the whole time. This is where we're at. Another case of Feinstein, who died, I think, in office at like 94 or something.
Senator Feinstein.
Say aye. Pardon me? Aye. Yeah. To say. I would like to support a yes vote on this. It provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense. And it funds priorities submitted. Yeah, just say aye. Okay, just aye. Thank you.
This is not funny. This is not funny. Mitch McConnell is going to be blocking the SAVE Act, or has blocked the SAVE Act. He's on the Rules Committee. He's on the Rules Committee And he's going to be blocking the SAVE Act. So, the standing filibuster does not take effect. Right now, the rule allows the zombie filibuster, right? The idea that you just go in there and you're like, hey, we're going to filibuster this. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'd hate to make you work and stand up for 24 hours and actually talk about something for 24 hours and give your clear, concise thoughts on why this shouldn't happen. But I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to, cave like a little chicken shit. And I'm going to give you what you want. You don't even have to filibuster. You just have to threaten it. That's how feckless we are. That's how worthless we are as an institution, as a body of government. We're just going to allow the threat. You have a mandate from 80 million Americans, Republican trifecta in government, president, House, Senate. And we're going to let the Democrats stop the SAVE Act because of a zombie filibuster. Just the idea that they're going to filibuster. And, oh, by the way, we've got quote unquote Republicans in on it too. And you guys know I hate the Republican. Like it's cringe for me to say Republican versus Democrat here because they're exposing more and more. I mean, just every single day they expose more and more how partisan divide is a construct to make it appear as if the uniparty establishment is not a real thing, but it absolutely is. And then you get these little glimmers like this where it's like, oh yeah, this is totally a real thing. 83% of Americans versus the United States Congress, the House and the Senate. It is literally 83% of Americans that voted for Republican leadership, that voted for these people to pass the laws that we want implemented. 83% support this. Even Democrats are like, oh yeah, we support this. Blacks are like, we support this. Hispanics are like, we support this. Every fucking body supports this. And Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, and a bunch of other retards in Congress are like, yeah, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this because if we did this, we might actually be giving power back to the people. A little bit, not a lot, but ending mail-in ballots, except for need, disability, the thing, the criteria that's laid out would be a massive step. Is it going to fix our elections? No, but it is definitely going to make it a lot more harder to cheat, a lot more difficult to cheat. Mail-in ballots were paramount to Joe Biden getting elected in 2020. They were paramount to Donald Trump getting elected in 2024. Now, would he have gotten elected without him? Yes, 100%. 100%. That's the thing. Republicans can still win when they let you with the mail-in ballots. Democrats can't win without them, period. Especially if we have voter ID and all the other things. Now, of course, there is the black box voting systems, machines that we're still voting on. Nobody can see the source code. Nobody can see the ballots. Nobody has any idea how any of that stuff goes down. But it's going to make it much more difficult for them to cheat. Much more difficult. Is it a perfect system? Not even close. But it's getting there. And they don't want to see that because the house of cards will begin to shatter. They will begin to lose their power. They will begin to lose their influence. They will no longer have the primaries. Again, I saw somebody in the chat say these midterms are going to be incredibly important. They are. The primaries are going to be way more important. The primaries are going to be way more important. What is the point in electing another Mitch McConnell or another Chuck Schumer or another John Thune or another John Cornyn? What is the point in electing one of these retards if they're not going to do what we elected them to do? 83%. 83%. Play that. Stand up there, play the Harry Enton clip as they're filibustering it. Let every American see that. Let them all see it. So Nick Shirley had this video out. We're not going to play it. It's 22 minutes long, but California is the breeding ground for voter fraud in America as millions of people vote with no ID, month-long election processes, inaccurate voter rolls, dead people caught voting, even a dog successfully registered to vote, and voter verification is all based on your signature, not who you actually are. I do want to play one segment from here, and let me see if I can find it real quick. I should have had it queued up, but I know about where it is. And Shirley is actually talking to a guy on the street, this guy. So we play these two. This guy apparently appears to be a Trump supporter at least. But check out these clips. The second guy is the one that's like mind blowing. Oh, are you really going to do this? Come on. 1623.
We're just looking for these individuals as they're registered to vote here. I don't know. Are registered to vote alone. There's 15 people registered to vote. Yeah, all the windows are boarded up.
Oh, one of the business was ducats, and I never saw anybody go in or out of there.
15 people are registered to vote, and a lot of them voted in the 2024 election.
Doesn't surprise me. This is California for a reason.
Do you think voter fraud takes place here in California?
100%.
And do you trust Gavin Newsom?
No, not at all. You could tell by the way he talks. He never wants to answer a real question. Let's see. He calls ICE, basically calls them out, calls them terrorists. In some ways, I kind of hope he runs for president. That means someone else is going to get governor, and if he doesn't make it as president, his political career is done. I don't see him winning. I really don't.
Right now in Polymarket, he's leading for the Democrats as far as who's going to be the next nominee.
Yeah, Kamala was leading. Look how that went.
Do you think California should require voter ID?
Do I think that voters should require voter ID?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Why?
How come you need an ID when you go to the airport?
I don't know why you got to do that either.
So do you think it's possible to have fair?
All right. So to be fair, this guy appears to be like one of the, libertarian small L, like he's one of the guys I was talking about earlier that doesn't want a bank account and doesn't want Uncle Sam to have any of his information, but he'll be the first one to come and be like, hey, I need a little bit of help right now. Can you guys help me out?
Elections here in the United States, if people don't prove who they actually are by giving their ID when they go and vote?
I can't even answer that. Because I'm like this. If you here, you can vote. It's just too much paperwork.
Too much paperwork.
Yeah, too much bureaucracy, too much stuff. It's just too much.
So when you go vote, you don't want to show your ID?
Nah. Heck no, for what?
To prove that you are you.
I mean, I'm me anyway. I'm me anyway.
So no ID?
Nah. Mm-mm.
What if I wanted to vote on behalf of your name?
Why would you want to do that? Tell me why I want to do that, and then I can make a decision.
What if I wanted you to vote Democrat and you're a Republican?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, yeah, that's a point. But I still ain't approving of it.
We headed to
that man right there can cast a vote, guys. That guy right there can cast a vote. That whole conversation, and he's like, why would anybody ever want to steal my vote? Why would anybody ever want to steal my vote on my behalf? Oh, you mean they want to get somebody elected that's their party line? Oh, yeah, that okay, that makes sense. But still don't want ID. Okay. There are going to be people that you can't convince one way or the other. It's going to happen. But hat tip to Nick Shirley on doing that, man. I know a lot of people are out there, giving him a little bit of shit, and they're like, why is it, he's doing important work. He's getting 20. What does he got now on that? Let's see what he's got now. He's got 22.2 million views on this. Is that updated? I think that's updated. Yeah, he's got 22.2 million views. Let's give him a retweet, try and get some more. I got it bookmarked, but I don't have it reposted. So let's give him a repost, try and get him some more. Not that maybe I'll get him like another 1,000 instead of 22.2. It'll be 22.3. But so here's the importance of this election. This is Politico right here. Put this out. South Texas will never be red again. Home builders warn GOP over Trump's immigration raids. I want to remind you guys right now, Trump is right at about 50% approval. All right. Let that sink in. You had, what was it? I was just looking at a poll, and it's not Rasmussen. Rasmussen's 48%. I was taking the average of Rasmussen and another poll that had Trump at 50% approve, 48% disapprove. Rasmussen was at 48% approve, and I don't know what the disapprove number was, probably 50, 51, maybe 52, if everybody either approves or disapproves. But the point is they're trying to lay the foundation right now for a stolen midterm election. If we don't get the SAVE Act passed and we don't get any quality election reform in the next 8 months. 8 months. What are we in now? 8 months, guys. Less than that, technically. We're almost in March. From March, it's like 7 months. 6 months until voting starts. Half a year. Half a year. Man, that is shocking to me. All right. Construction executives held multiple meetings over the last month with the White House and Congress to discuss how immigration busts on job sites and in communities are scaring away employees, making it more expensive to build homes in a market desperate for new supply. Beyond the affordability issue, the executives made an electability argument, raising concerns to GOP leaders that support among Hispanics is eroding, particularly in regions that swung Trump in 2024. I don't buy that for a second. I know living down here in Florida, we have a lot of Hispanic people down here. A lot. Cuban, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, all sorts of Latins. And most of them, especially the ones that are here legally, support this. Why? Because they went through the grit to get here and do it right. Now, you guys all know this. I mean, I'm just preaching to the choir here. But these are the people telling you that they're going to lose the Hispanic base because they're the ones who are getting destroyed because they're no longer allowed to manipulate and leverage the illegals that have been working for them for pennies on the dollar, paying them like dog shit, treating them like dog shit. If they get hurt on the job, they don't have to worry about workman's comp or suing or anything like that because they're afraid they're going to get, La Migra called on them, ICE called on them. It says, quote, they started off with, hey, this is Henry Cuellar, Texas congressman, Democrat. They started off with, hey, we're all Trump supporters, and we thought he was going to secure the border and kick out criminals. We just never thought they were going to be coming after our folks, our workers on that, Cuellar said, recounting the message the builders shared the first time he met with them. They're builders, contractors, lumber companies, cement companies, in the finance part of it. That type of ripple effect has hurt their economy, not only individuals, but their economy. No, it's hurt their business. It hasn't hurt the economy. It's hurt their business. They no longer can hire cheap ass labor with no accountability, limited liability, no fear of any repercussions. And now they're dealing with it. You reap what you sow. There's plenty of Americans out there who will do this work. Plenty. In fact, construction jobs grew 33,000 last month. 33,000 new construction jobs gone to American citizens. They're out there. You just got to pay them a fair wage. Quote, there's no shortage of American minds and hands to grow our labor force, and President Trump's agenda to create jobs for American workers represents this administration's commitment to capitalizing on that untapped potential while delivering on our mandate to enforce our immigration laws, said White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson. This is trying to lay the foundation for when a state like Texas goes purple. I don't know that they'll be able to just like, boom, snap of a finger, flip it red. In 2028, I don't think it'll flip red. A lot of this is revolving around President Trump and the issues that they have specifically with President Trump. And so therefore, if the uniparty continues on, which probably will, guys, not dooming out on that, but the uniparty is still strong. The establishment Republican Party that's beholden to their donors, the establishment Democrat Party beholden to their donors and not to the people, not to the 83% that want the SAVE Act pass, they're not going anywhere. And so in 2028, I think it'd be very difficult to flip Texas red, but that has been their goal all along. Texas, Florida, flip those two states, boom, we're screwed. We're screwed. And they're laying the foundation so that they can go back when we say, hey, something's not right here. They can go back and say, look, we've been talking about this since 2026 or even further back than that. Texas turning purple goes all the way back to like 2018. This has been their pipe dream, their wet dream, I should say, not pipe dream. This has been their dream forever. to turn Texas purple and then and then blue, excuse me. Oh, let's see. I'm going to jump around a little bit here. Where did that story go? I had a story up and I put it out of order. Here we go. Here we go. Maybe not. Maybe not. Stand by. I'm sorry, guys. I have a lot of tabs open right now. In fact, I can close some of these out. Close, leave open. There we go. Okay. Let's get into this story here from The Hill. And this will lead to a clip I want to show you guys. Collaboration agreements between ICE and local police are up 950% in Trump's first year. ICE working with local cops, 950% increase in agreements between the two entities. There are 1,372 agreements between local cops and ICE, which is up from 135 when Trump took office in January 2025. 135, now 1,372. Love it. Absolutely love it. The agreements are legal under Section 287G of the 1996 Immigration Nationality Act. The Obama administration, citing issues such as racial profiling, ended that model in 2012. From January through early September, the agreements increased from 135 to 958. And then ICE came out and was like, hey, if you work with us, we're going to pay your cops while they're doing our work. While they're doing ICE kind of work, immigration work, we're going to pay them. And they're like, oh, let's do that. I'm all for it. Well, here's a sheriff who is going absolutely berserk on Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, because he won't cooperate with ICE. And this sheriff is like, hey, I am a constitutional officer. I am elected by the people, and I am going to do it. You are not going to stop me.
The abolishment of the 287G program is not the abolishment of ICE. They're going nowhere. In fact, they're going to intensify their effort. We warned them this was going to happen, and it's going to happen.
A warning on Wednesday issued by sheriffs from the 9 Maryland counties forced to end active partnerships with ICE under a new state law.
It is the biggest betrayal to law enforcement and public safety that I have ever seen.
There will be people missed. And that is my concern. There'll be people missed and who will be re-released into our communities who pose a threat.
The legislation signed by the governor Tuesday abolishes 287G agreements with ICE.
Mark my word, you will see a dramatic increase in the presence of ICE in this state.
Let's go. Maryland next, baby. Let's go. Bring in the ICE. Bring them in. You know, I did miss a story, but we'll get back to it because we got into some of the ICE stuff now. So Florida had an incident. We talked about this yesterday. A minor was struck by a car during a protest in Palm Beach County. That's the county just north of me. That's where Mar-a-Lago is, in Palm Beach County. You know, student, I believe it was minor injuries or whatever, but this was at 12:30 in the afternoon on a school day. That kid was supposed to be in school, and they were out protesting. Now, they told us, we played on Fridays daily. I'm not going to do it today because, you know, interest of time. But they told us that, you know, oh, they're doing it on their own after school. No, this was at 12:30 p.m. This was during school hours. Now, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but check this out. This is the teachers union indoctrination camp.
Florida students are confronted with videos of ICE raids, of families being torn apart, and of Americans being murdered for using their constitutional rights. They respond. They organize. They speak out, and they do what American students have always done in moments of injustice. They stand together and demand safety for their peers, their families, and themselves. And that response, while framed by some politicians as radical, is rather reasonable. It's rational, and in a moment like this, it is required. To any students being told that they do not have the right to speak out or walk out on their campus, I want to be clear. This is the United States of America. You do not shed your First Amendment rights when you step foot through the schoolhouse.
Good luck with that one. If you're a minor, if you're in college, go for it. You're an adult, you go for it. But when you're a minor, you are in the custody of that school. You are in the care and custody of that school. If that school permits you to do that, that school will have hell to pay. And they've said as much. Oh, shit, I just deleted it. And they've said as much. There goes my segue right there. This is from Anastasios Kamoutsas. Says, we will not tolerate educators encouraging school protests and pushing their political views onto students, especially ones that disparage law enforcement. Under the leadership of Governor DeSantis, Florida's education system is focused on student achievement, not ideology. Classroom instruction provides students with the academic foundation they need to succeed, and schools must protect that time. Like, where the fuck did this come from? Where did this? I went to public school in Florida until high school. In high school, I went to private school, but I went to public school in Florida. This was never a thing to go out and do protests. Like, we didn't even give a shit about politics. And most of these kids don't. They're like, oh, you're going to let us out of school? Okay, well, I'm going to go to Wendy's or McDonald's. You know, my school had a Wendy's across the street, so that's where we used to go after school. I'm going to go to Wendy's and get a Frosty and just dip my French fries in a Frosty and watch all these retards out there on the street. Ice, get out. Da, 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 da. Stupid. So stupid. And, you know, again, going all the way back to when Renee Good was shot after trying to strike an ICE officer with her car, you know, I had said they canceled school. And the reason that I believe that they canceled school in that county was because they want a student to get hurt. It sounds sick and disgusting. These people are depraved. They are not moral people. They are, I mean, we played the video, I think, last weekend of the preschool in New York teaching 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds to protest, to go out there and protest a topic they can't even possibly understand, not even at the fundamental level. They don't understand. And like Our Kitchens 13 just said, they have no future. You are taking away that future. You are, man, that's just my student's voice. You are crushing their ability to form their own independent thoughts. And I understand, like, in school in general, you're heavily influenced by your teacher and the nuanced things that they say, the perceptions and their ideologies and everything else. But this is blatant. This is thrusting it on them. I don't know, man. I did want to cover this. Wait, am I done? Am I done with that? Let's see. I got to delete as we go. Delete as we go. Delete as we go. Yeah, we'll get back into Florida here in just a second. But I do want to go back and cover something that I missed from earlier on there. But I also do want to talk about a sponsor because I haven't done that yet so far today. And I think I typically freeze when this happens. Oh, wait, maybe not. Might not be working. Might not be working. Let's see. Oh, okay. Maybe we're not going to do. Did I just get? Am I still live? Okay, I am still live. I don't know what the heck is going on here. All right, there we go. Guys, have you tried 1775 coffee yet? Now is your chance. The 1775 starter kit just dropped with only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits hard, the smooth, medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free and mold-free. Plus, You're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom is not scooped with plastic, a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just 99 bucks. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. All right. So thank you there to 1775 Coffee. And let's also talk a little bit about Augusta Precious Metals. Guys, you know that I have believed in precious metals for a very long time, especially silver. I'm big on silver. I'm bullish on silver. I've said that over and over again, but whether you lean silver, gold, or both, the issue right now is purchasing power, and that's the part that people miss. Everything costs more. Groceries, utilities, insurance, and that same retirement money, well, it does not quite stretch like people think it does. A lot of retirement accounts are still tied completely to paper assets, stocks, bonds, dollars, and that's great, but purchasing power keeps getting chipped away year after year. And then people realize they're a little bit more exposed than they thought. And that's why some people look at gold and silver inside their retirement accounts, not to trade, not to speculate, but just to diversify a portion and reduce risk. If you want to understand how gold and silver IRAs actually work, the rules, the structure, what you can and can't do, there's a company called Augusta Precious Metals that focuses on education first. No hype, no pressure. This stays inside your IRA or 401k, no taxes, no penalties. You're not moving everything. You're just learning how this works. If you want to dig into it, click in the link in the description down below or text CannCon, CANNCON, to 35052 to get the free gold and silver IRA guide. Get informed first and then decide what makes sense for you. And you guys know me. Hey, look at that guy right there. Look at that guy right there in the blue shirt. That was with, that's Joe Hoft over my shoulder. That was at the symposium. Good times there. I think Lou Dobbs was actually sitting next to me in that photo. Good times. God bless him, Lou Dobbs. But yeah, guys, silver, man. I'm bullish on silver. Absolutely love it. Text CannCon to 35052. You guys would have listened to me in the first place. You're doing really good. $21. It's up. What's silver at now? I think it's around 77. It's been kind of stagnant a little bit. Let's see. It is at 85. Ooh, there we go. Little run there. Taking a little run. Not anywhere near its high of 114, or was it more than that? Yeah, 114 was its high. All right. So this is the story that I wanted to cover, coming off the talk about all the SAVE Act and everything else. No clear path to ending the partial government shutdown as lawmakers dig in on DHS oversight. The takeaway from this story, there's only one takeaway. There's only one takeaway. It's that line highlighted right there in red. Let me zoom all the way in so you guys can see it crystal clear. Congress is on recess until February 23rd. We have a quote-unquote partial shutdown because the Democrats don't want DHS to be funded, which I agree. But they go on recess. You can't hate these people enough. They are not serious people. These are not serious people. You know, they would have gotten a little bit of respect from me if they would have been like, you know, there's a shutdown going on right now. Maybe we should not go on vacation and go back to our summer homes or our winter homes. It's not summer, but our winter homes, and, you know, maybe go fundraise and have nice steak dinners with the corporate donors that got me here. Nah. Let's go do that instead of sticking around and getting a bill passed. Nah. The SAVE Act's out there. We got 7 months until voting starts for the next election. Nah. You can't hate these people enough. You really can't. All right. There was something else I wanted to talk about. You know what? let's just run through some headlines real quick because I want to get to the last two things I want to talk about is the tariffs and the Epstein. So let's run through some headlines real quick. New York Times, Mamdani threatens 9.5% property tax increase if wealth tax is not passed. Imagine that. 3 million people in New York, median income of $122,000. They're going to raise their property taxes almost 10%. Almost 10%. Meanwhile, in the state of Florida, we are on track to abolish property taxes. It's passed the House 80-30. Goes to the Senate. Once it passes the Senate, it goes to an election. And, of course, elections are fake and gay, so who knows what's going to happen if that comes about. But the other thing I want to point out, Geiger Capital put this out. Mamdani just proposed a preliminary budget of $127 billion for New York City, not New York, New York City. 8 million people. 8 million people in New York City. $127 billion. As Geiger Capital points out, Florida's entire budget, the whole state, 23.5 million people, $117 billion, $10 billion less than New York City. The entire state of Florida. The entire state of Florida. We've got an eclectic group down here in Florida. We've got the Keys. We've got all sorts of, things down here that are totally different. Like the Florida Keys are a totally different lifestyle than Jacksonville, North Carolina, or Orlando. We've got hurricanes. We've got floods. We've got all sorts of things. And we've got 3.5 times more people than New York City. And we're $10 billion under budget compared to Mamdani. The people in New York are not having it. They're pissed. Buyer's remorse.
The mayor, with the greatest respects, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Giving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Arizona Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey, guys, we tried to warn you. We tried to warn you. Socialism does not work. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. You have to get from somewhere in order to give everywhere. And guess what? You can only take so much. There's only so much blood you can get from a stone, right? Is that what they say? Blood from a stone? There's only so much juice out of the squeeze, and the rich people can't take it anymore. They're fleeing New York. The wealthy are fleeing New York. And guess what? Everyone that leaves is taking a big chunk of change with them, whether it's their corporation that's leaving, whether it's, whatever the case. Kevin O'Leary is like, I'm taking all my businesses out of New York. We're done. We're out of here. We're out of here. He's not exclusive. He's not the only one. It's not isolated. Way to go, New York. Way to go. Hey, again, Florida, no property tax. We're looking really good down here. If you guys want to come on down, come on down. All right. I am going to take a quick pause here to gather my thoughts. I'll hang out in the chat here for just a moment. I am going to shut down X. I do this every show about halfway through, and we're a little more than halfway through. So I am going to blood from a turnip. There it is. Blood from a turnip. Thanks. Well, no, you can. There's blood from a stone is also a term, isn't it? Or is it water from a stone? I don't know. Blood from a turnip. There you go. I don't have all the cool sayings. Leave your leftist bullcrap behind, though. Amen. Yeah. Don't New York my Florida. Don't California my Florida. My Florida is nice. Problem in Florida is that there will be 7 options on the ballots for the different groups included and excluded from owing property tax, lumped in different order for each choice. I don't know how that's going to come out. I don't know how. Usually it's yes or no. It's a yes or no proposition, but they'll phrase it in a way that if you don't know what you're voting for, they can phrase it so that it's very partisan. Shadowban Warrior, good to see you, dude. They want the land. They could care less who leaves. Well, I mean, they definitely care who leaves. Because now they're taxing the middle class and pushing the middle class closer and closer to that lower class. So blood from turnips is old tech. Our military has a patent on human blood. All right, guys, I am shutting down X. Jump on over to Rumble, rumble.com/CannCon. Download the app. You can follow me on YouTube as well if you'd prefer. YouTube.com/CannCon1. The can has one N in it, CANCON 1. And then, of course, if you just search on YouTube, it's at CannCon Actual. So thank you guys all so much for the ones that tuned in on X, and we'll see you guys later. All right. And then there was just Rumble and YouTube. Good to see you guys all there. And yeah, keep going. So we've got Epstein and we've got the tariffs up next. You guys pick which one you want me to go to first. And while you do that, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. And I'll wait the 10 seconds for the chat to start coming in. Yeah, smash that thumbs up if you guys have not done so yet. Please, that helps me out quite a bit. Quite a bit. What do we got here? Let's see. All right, nobody's chiming in yet. Also, if you're in the chat and you don't normally chat, if you're there but you don't normally chat, pop in and say hello. That helps me out a lot too. So if you guys want to jump in and just say what's up, it helps out. I'm sure most people are probably burnt out. Tariffs, yeah. A lot of people are burnt out on Blessed 0901. Why are you putting pizza in the chat? Don't do that, man. Don't do that. I'm going to send the FBI to your house. Don't be putting pizza in my chat. Unless you want pizza, like real Italian pizza, like good, a Sicilian pie. Not Sicilian. I don't like Sicilian. I'm Sicilian and I don't like Sicilian pie. Yeah, I've got Epstein fatigue too. I do. DJ Silk Farm. Hey, Brian, love your show. Come back and visit us again in New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire. I had so much fun up there hanging out with like Tom and Ken and Marilyn and everybody else up there. You guys were awesome, man. Dawn, you guys were badass. New Hampshire was great. And I was freezing my ass off in June. I was freezing. It's like 58 degrees in the middle of frickin' June. What the hell is that shit? Come on. All right, let's get into the tariffs. We'll start here. And I talked about this on Friday. No, like Thursday. From Just the News, Kevin Hassett says Federal Reserve researchers should face punishment for flawed tariff analysis. Here's the thing. I'm not going to read this whole thing because we did it on Daily. And basically, you've got a bunch of these, like, the authoritative sources, right? The professors and the highly educated people that are like, Trump's evil. He is evil. And his tariffs are going to be a tax, and it's going to destroy our country, and we're all going to die, and the world is coming to an end, and the sky is falling because of tariffs. It's so stupid. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York researchers and David Weinstein, an economics professor at Columbia University, wrote a paper saying that, quote, U.S. firms and consumers continue to bear the bulk of the economic burden of the high tariffs imposed back in 2025. These people associated with this paper should presumably be disciplined, came out, Kevin Hassett said. They've put out a conclusion which has created a lot of news that's highly partisan based on analysis that wouldn't be accepted in a first semester economics class. Hold on 1 second. I got to check something. Okay. In an economics class, Philip Magnus, a senior fellow at the Independent Institute, said that, quote, the Fed report found that about 90% of tariff incidence is passed through onto American consumers and businesses. This finding is in line with several other independent studies. The Kiel Institute for the World Economy found that Americans are paying almost the entire cost of the tariffs. Goldman Sachs economists projected in October that American consumers will pay 55% of the tariff cost. U.S. businesses will pay 22%, and foreign exporters will pay about 18%. Okay. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, That's kind of the goal. That's kind of the goal. I know it sucks. It's going to get a little bit more expensive at first. But if we are going to fix this ship, if we're going to right the ship, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some time. It's going to take, I mean, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt before it gets better. But right now, we are the world's bitch. The United States is the world's bitch. Before President Trump, they were eating our lunch on tariffs. They were importing everything into our country, and they were not taking our exports nearly at the same level, and they weren't paying any tariffs on our exports. They were eating our lunch. They were crushing us. Now, in order to re-onshore the offshoring business, we're a country of service, right? You go out and talk to people, and what do? They all service each other. It's always a very difficult thing to say. They all service each other. How? A little perverted. We're a service industry. Everybody is in a form of, not everybody, but people are either in entertainment or service. We don't really produce anything anymore. We don't have a whole lot of production in this country. And we got to re-onshore that, period. And it's going to take a lot to do that. In order to do that, you have to incentivize the businesses to bring the companies back to the United States. And the way you do that is you make it more expensive for them to produce their goods overseas and bring them back to the U.S. than the other way around, to produce them in the U.S., distribute them in the U.S., or distribute them globally. Again, this is not something that's like a snap your fingers and it's done thing. Of course, there's going to be, a learning curve and a period of difficulty, hardship. There's going to be a period of hardship. But this is what happens when you fuck things up for so long, while everybody's telling you, again, this is why our Congress is not serious people, but you've been fucking things up for so long that you got to take a hard, rip the Band-Aid off, right? All at once, rip it off. The hairs come with it. You're screaming, ah. If you sit there and do it slowly, you know how bad that hurts. And then when you finally do it fast and you get the Band-Aid off and you're like, oh man, I'm so glad I just ripped it off real fast. It hurt a little bit, but not as bad as it would have if I did it really slowly. Or if I continued to let the Band-Aid just sit over that wound and get infected. And then I had to cut the leg off and everything's dead. All right, let's jump into this NPR. So we talked about that Dave Weinstein guy. This was back in March of 2025. Dave Weinstein said other sectors are going to shrink in response to the tariffs. That is, in order for us to make more steel or shoes or whatever, that's going to pull people out of jobs in our high-tech sectors. Could you give us an example of that? So the other guy on the interview says, yeah, so Weinstein illustrated with iPhones. If you put tariffs on iPhones coming into the U.S. from China, you make those more expensive. So then, and Weinstein jumps in, so then Apple is going to sell fewer iPhones. And while that does create some jobs for people assembling iPhones, those are not high-wage jobs. So we're giving up on high-wage jobs to create low-wage jobs, and that's the real danger of this policy. There's no, I'm not sharing the right screen. There's no finer example to me of the hypocrisy of these people than this right here. And I showed this on Friday. And here we go. This was last week. Apple increases U.S. commitment to $600 billion, announces American manufacturing program. Apple supports more than 450,000 jobs with thousands of suppliers across all 50 states. And then you scroll down here, and there it is. So you go back, $600 billion, but Weinstein, the Columbia professor, the very, very intelligent person that you're supposed to listen to because he's an authoritative source, ignore the fact that he has Trump derangement syndrome, ignore the fact that he's dead ass wrong on this right here, ignore the fact that we've allowed globalism to engulf this country and decimate our own internal onshore industry. Ignore all of that. But Trump wants to put reciprocal tariffs. God forbid we hold other countries accountable to the same standard that they've been thrusting upon us for decades. God forbid. God forbid. He says Apple is going to sell fewer iPhones. And while that does create some jobs for people assembling the phones, those are not high-wage jobs. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to bring the manufacturing and assembly of iPhones back to America. It's not going to be in China anymore. I mean, I'm sure they'll still have factories in China, but they ain't going to be able to come back to the United States. It's going to be too expensive to bring them back to the United States. So what do? They spend $600 billion. $600 billion is going to go to construction companies, lumber companies, technology firms that build the equipment that they're going to be utilizing, all the people that are going to be working those jobs to build these factories, all the people that are going to be working in those factories. Apple is one of the biggest companies in the world. And President Trump just got them to invest over $500 billion into the United States. And this Columbia professor was dead ass fucking wrong on it. Trump was right. So that brings us to the Supreme Court. And a lot of people were blackpilling on this. Ash and I covered this quite a bit last night on Why We Vote. Had nothing to do with elections, although she made the tie to elections a little bit. But the Gorsuch opinion is fire. Absolute fire. Supreme Court strikes down Trump tariffs, rebuking president's signature economic policy. Let's just go to the president himself and hear what he has to say. Because, well, hold on, before we get into that, and we'll go through the, I'll discuss the Gorsuch opinion because it's the best. It's by far the best. I haven't finished reading all of it yet. It's 46 pages long. I'm on about page 35. So I've got like 10 more pages to go. But it's absolute fire. He destroys the hypocrisy of both sides of the aisle on this argument and is making a strong push to dismantle the bureaucrat state, the administrative state in this country. Now, to be clear, President Trump did not lose the authority to levy tariffs. It was never his to begin with, but it was delegated to him by Congress, and he still has that ability. So check this out. It's about 4 minutes long.
There will no longer be any doubt, and the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision. I don't think the court meant that, but it's the way it is. Based on long-standing law and hundreds of victories, and even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years, to the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA, anything. I just can't charge anybody for it.
That's nuts to me right there. So Gorsuch points this out in his opinion and says IEEPA gives him the authority to sanction countries, meaning you can't do any business with the United States, but you can't tariff them. Hey, you can do business, but we're going to charge you 20%. No. It's all or nothing, Mr. President. That's fucking bonkers.
I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways.
Yep.
The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off.
Yep.
You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us.
Amen.
If you have a few questions, you can let us know. But just to end, so we're going forward, we will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them, and they're foreign country centric. They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries, but very, very bad for us. And I stopped it, and we'll just keep it going. So we have a totally firm decision now. And I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now. And the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in.
Yeah, so Kavanaugh came out and said that this is not the end of tariffs, that there's plenty of other avenues for the president to take in that regard. Again, Gorsuch saying that, IEPA allows him to sanction, but doesn't explicitly give him the authority to tariff, which is bonkers. Gorsuch, in his opinion, again, he was part of the 6 that upheld that upheld the lower court, saying that IEPA does not explicitly give him the authority. And he's right. Okay, guys, I know a lot of people are mad. President Trump came out and said some things about Gorsuch. Gorsuch is right here. Gorsuch has been one of the champions of combating the administrative state on the Supreme Court. And, I'm a little biased because me and Ash read his book, Overruled, and thought it was a great book. And he gets it on a level that we'll never be able to comprehend. But in his opinion, he goes after what's called the major questions doctrine. And it's basically, if authority is delegated to the administrative state through Congress by law, and the administrative state interprets something in a way that has major implications for national security, economics, broadly, right? It's going to affect the country as a whole. The major questions doctrine implies that it has to be explicitly given to them. Let me read exactly, like, legally speaking, because the major questions doctrine is a principle in administrative law that requires Congress to provide clear and explicit authorization before an executive agency can exercise regulatory power over issues of vast economic or political significance. A more refined way of saying what I was saying. And so Gorsuch, in his ruling, in his opinion, he goes off on everybody. He goes off on Sotomayor, Breyer, who's not even on the bench anymore, goes off on Breyer, Kagan, Brown, all of them. Goes off on Kavanaugh, goes off on Thomas, Alito, everybody. I don't know if he went off on Barrett. I think he does. But the liberals are the worst, because he explicitly mentions the vaccine mandates. Oh, you guys were very quick to interpret OSHA's vaccine mandate as required. like they had the authority to do that. And there was no major questions doctrine applied to that decision. It's funny how you're doing it now. Went off on the student loan repayment. You guys didn't apply major question doctrine to that. $430 billion that you allowed. Well, they didn't allow. They dissented. He wasn't allowed to do it. They dissented from that decision, though, saying that he should be allowed to do that, referring to Joe Biden for giving student loan debt under COVID. There's a bunch of them that he went off on. Forgiving loans, you know, and so Gorsuch does a great job at pointing out the hypocrisy. And I think he stops just shy. Really, he stops just shy of saying, you're only doing this now because it's President Trump. You're only doing this because it's President Trump. And so it got me thinking, and I wanted to go and look up and see what other presidents have applied tariffs. So let's just read through a list here. Joe Biden applied Chinese steel and aluminum products, electric vehicle batteries, critical minerals, solar panels, chips, and a 100% tariff on electric vehicles from China. No complaints there. Barack Obama, 35% tariff on Chinese tires and 30% on Chinese solar panels. No complaints there. George W. Bush, 30% on most imported steel to protect the U.S. steel industry, targeting Europe, Asia, and South America. 30% tariffs on Europe, Asia, and South America. No arguments there. Bill Clinton imposed additional tariffs on steel from 19 other countries. No arguments there. Ronald Reagan, 100% tariffs on Japanese electronics, computers, televisions, Walkmans, everything, over an alleged unfair trade practice and semiconductor issue. 100% tariffs, Ronald Reagan. No issue there. Gerald Ford. Holy shit, we're going all the way back to Ford? Yep. Raised oil import tariffs of 60%. Interesting. Nixon, temporary 10% across the board tariff on most imports. Richard Nixon, 10% on everything. No problems. Lyndon Johnson retaliated against European tariffs by imposing 25% tariffs on light trucks, potato starch, dextrin, and brandy. What do we call that when you impose a 25% tariff in retaliation? President Trump coined a phrase. Oh, wait, he didn't coin the phrase. It's already been coined. Reciprocal tariffs. It was fine back then. Now it's like, it's Trump. It's Trump. God forbid we get this bureaucratic administrative state under control and get this country back on the right track and get the globalists kicked the fuck out of this country. God forbid. John F. Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy did not hike tariffs, anything notable. However, he's the one that signed the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which gave presidents broad authority to adjust tariffs without going back to Congress. Now, in the past, William McKinley, Herbert Hoover, and FDR had major tariff statutes like the McKinley tariff, the Smoot-Hawley tariff, and reciprocal trade agreement programs. Tariffs are not new. Tariffs are not new. But the manufactured outrage at President Trump for implementing them, there it is. There it is. I'm going to share this video. Excuse me. I'm going to share this video just because I think this video is fantastic, and then we'll get into some Epstein stuff.
See what he wants? He wants me, let's see, dear American.
It's the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But I don't want his name on there. So can you help me out?
I love it.
He doesn't want Biden's name on his Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah. Mine's not an auto pen. This is. That's an auto pen. See that? You know, that's an auto pen. See, that's an auto pen. You want me to cross it off?
Yes. That's it right there.
That's an auto pen signature.
That's it.
You think?
Lifetime Achievement Award. Auto pen signed with the name Joe Biden. Takes it to Trump. Cross his name off. Put your name on there, Mr. President. Please put your name on there. It would make me feel so much better. Oh, you know what? Let's skip the Epstein shit. Prince Andrew was arrested. He wasn't arrested for anything other than misconduct. He leaked classified information in the emails. That's the extent of it. The one thing I will point out that's pretty interesting about the Prince Andrew arrest, a lot of people are pointing out it was on his 66th birthday, and there was 6 cop cars, right? They're like, oh, 66th birthday, 6 cop cars, 666. Okay, whatever. This is fascinating. And I saw this on X, and I wish I could attribute it, but it was an ephemeral experience, which means it disappeared on me. I have no idea what it was, but this was on April 24th, 2024. In London. Seven spooked cavalry horses have been seen careening around London with one covered in blood, the white one, covered in blood. First time in history that the king's horses have escaped like that. Now, again, I don't know what this means. This is more like this is purely kind of fun speculation or spooky. That was on April 24th, 2024, which happens to be my wife's birthday. That is exactly 666 days from the day that Prince Andrew was arrested on his 66th birthday. Never happened before. A pale horse escapes and runs through London covered in blood. Never happened before. 666 days later, Prince Andrew's arrested. And then one other thing I picked up on, this was not in the post, but if you take the date, all right, 4/24/2024, if you add up all the numbers, not together, but take 2 numbers, add them together, 2 numbers, add them together, 2 numbers, add them together, it's 666. Or the first 2 in 24, that's 6. The 4 in 24 and the 2 in 2024, that's 6. And then the 24 in 2024, that's 6. That's fucking weird. That is a lot of 666 shit right there. Aeolus, I wish I knew who found that. I can't attribute it because it was an ephemeral experience, meaning it popped up and then it disappeared. I couldn't find it again. So Prince Andrew, 66th birthday, 6 cop cars, 666. 666 days since April 24th, 2024, when that pale horse got out covered in blood. And then that date itself, 4/24/2024, is 666 if you add up the numbers. That's very strange, man. Like, again, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big, I don't get into all that craziness, but I was thinking about that one because I was like, man, that's my wife's birthday. And I was like, those numbers, 4s and 24s, that's all you see in there is 4s and 2s. And 4s and 2s go together to the 6. And I added them up and I'm like, damn. Spooky hour. CannCon spooky hour. There you go. All right. So I actually do have some more news that because we're going to skip over the Epstein shit. You guys are all bored to death on the Epstein shit, right? Good. Let's skip over that. There is some more news to cover. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about another sponsor real quick. And remember when oh, there's the spooky. My light just decided it wanted to flicker. It just went out. I got to replace the bulb apparently. But guys, remember when whatever ended in an argument, you just be like, whatever. Yeah. Some of us never stop using that strategy. We just upgraded it. At Snark Magnets, they are controlled, highly efficient sarcasm, the kind that says everything without raising your voice or scheduling a discussion about it. There are 15 bold, sarcastic designs to choose from, such as "Witness the void where I once cared." Let me turn that light out. "Witness the void where I once cared. Chaos was the plan all along. Overthinking is my cardio." You can put one on your locker, on your cubicle, on your tool chest, on your workspace. It's your territory. It doesn't require an explanation. It explains itself. They make people laugh. They also quietly discourage follow-up questions. Built for people who know the calmest response is the sharpest one, and proudly made in the USA. Scan the QR code or click the link below and use promo code RUMBLE10 for 10% off your entire order at thingsofholding.com. And let me just go out there and show you guys. I told you guys last time that I have a lot of respect for this company. You know, somebody, and they were in the chat. They were in the chat hanging out. But I bought a bunch of these. Snacks are currency around here. That one's for my wife. These are all handmade, by the way. And then there's this one. I drink coffee for your safety. Mug Life. Love that one. That's mine. Then I got a big one for my wife so that she can show it off. Snacks are currency. We're stoners, so, you know. And then chaos was the plan all along. So these things are badass, man. And like I said, they're made in the USA, and you're supporting American businesses. So I'm all for it. So thingsofholding.com, promo code RUMBLE10 to get 10% off your order. Check them out. All right, let's go ahead and see. They do F-bombs too. Yeah, they do. Although I have the F-bombs from another, I have another thing. Oh my gosh, I just typed Pale Horse into the e-files, and it's a classified operation? Whoa. Put the link in the chat if you can. I don't know if you can or not. 216,000 is 6 times 60 times 600. Where's the 216,000 come from? Linny Mouse, where does 216,000 come from? Am I missing something? My light working again? All right, there we go. Nope. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Hey. Hey. All right. No more light. No more light. We'll turn this one up a little bit. There we go. All right, here we go. So now that I called the audible, speaking of all the weird stuff, President Trump had this to say on board Air Force One to Peter Doocy. I feel like this was a setup. Doocy set him up. President Trump asked him to set him up. Watch Caroline Leavitt's face in the background on this.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so
Well,
if you
maybe I'll
want
get
to
him
make
out
an
of trouble.
announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens.
Illegal. Only illegal.
All right, so President Trump asking about Peter Doocy, asking about Obama talking about aliens being real. Dun dun dun. I don't have the X-Files theme on here, do I? No, I don't. All right, we're not going to play that. So then President Trump truthed this out. Pete Hegseth responding, Secretary of War. Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, and unidentified flying objects, and any other and all information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. Extremely interesting and important matters. Very interesting. Aliens are real. That would if we got like some mass disclosure that aliens were real, it would decimate the world. Like people, religious figures everywhere, like it would destroy so much of what everybody thinks they know about the world. If it was confirmed real, we all believe it's real. I think anybody that looks, but like knowing that we knew about it, like how many of them are among us? I think about this way more than I probably should. How many are actually among us? I mean, I look at Elon Musk. I think he's an alien. I look at, I mean, you just see people sometimes, right? And you're like, that motherfucker is not real. That dude is an alien. Like that guy can lick his own eyeballs, right? I don't know, man. Getting some fun stuff here. This is a story I wrote yesterday morning. Colorado Court of Appeals denies Tina Peters, denies her bond. A lot of people were freaking out about this one. Relax. It's not a decision on the merits of her appeals case. It is actually, the appeals court was actually right here. She waited too long or her attorneys waited too long to appeal the bond decision at the local court, at the district court, by a lot. He was afforded, I think Ash and I did the math last night. I did the math. Ash asked me to do the math. It was like 160. It was 84 plus 84, so 168 days. She was afforded to appeal that. She waited 480. So again, the courts made the right decision on this. It's following the law. Should she be in prison? No. Should she have relief from that hearing? Yes. Should there be a retrial at best or at worst? At worst, yes. Should she be let go? Yes, I think so. So again, this isn't like, it's not the end of the line. It's not, it's not off to the Supreme Court. She's going to have to, appeal back to Judge Barrett at the district court, or submit another bond, a request for bond showing cause, and we'll see what happens. But it's not the end of the world. Like a lot of people were dooming out about this. Again, just kind of goose fraba. Let's see. I do want to play the clip of Bongino with Patel. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Where'd it go? Here it is. So again, I'm gonna stand on the rug on this one. We get rugged all the time, but check out what Kash Patel says here about the funding mechanisms of the color revolution taking place across this country.
There's been actual action to take down and dismantle this entire ring of people.
You're right. We set out to actually activate intelligence-based operations. This includes Antifa. And Dan, you know this. How many people were arrested related to Prayer Land? We're over 24 federal arrests. We're in the middle of federal trial in 5 of those defendants this week again in Texas. 19 people have been convicted for acts of violence related to Antifa. It's in the indictment. You don't got to believe me or you. Everybody can go read the public indictment. And it didn't just happen there. It happened in Cop City in Georgia, where we had to go rearrest everybody because the state authorities couldn't get their act together to produce the enough information to take that to trial. So we did. And it's not a creation or manufacturing of information. It exists. It's just a willingness that you and I and this building's new leadership took to say, we're going to look at the facts that exist. We're not going to try to make up facts that don't, so we can serve a political narrative. And wait till you, and I know you know this, but wait till you see what's coming in the next month or two on the funding streams related to this. You and I had launched a serious investigation. We had said these organizations don't operate alone, don't operate in silence. They operate with a heavy, heavy stream of funding. And we started looking into it, and guess what, Dan? We found them.
I mean, that's a pretty bold assertion right there. We found them. I hope to God that they actually found out who's funding this color revolution that's been taking place, and if they're violations of the law. Because again, it's not against the law to fund NGOs and everything else like that. But let's see if we actually have anything. And are you going to come back and be like, it's Neville Singham? It's Neville Singham, Code Pink, his wife, and they're in China, and we can't do anything with it. So I don't know. We'll see. God, you guys are all like dooming out on Bongino, huh? Did you guys just pop in? I mean, I know Irishmen's here all the time. Man, it is so funny to watch everybody dooming out over Bongino and Cash. Just wait, guys. Their time will come. Their time will come. You'll see. You'll see. All right. Oh, two last things, and these are just kind of like joking around stories. This is pretty freaking badass. I don't know if this is AI. I don't know if this is AI or not, but if these are actual robots, I don't know if you guys have seen this video, but if this thing's telling a story, first and foremost, remember these robots could barely stand up and run just a couple years ago. And now watch what they're doing. Now, if this is AI, disregard, it's CGTN. But if this is real, a lot of, and this is in China, a lot of Chinese acts like this tell a story. And I want to see if you guys pick up on the story that's being told in this video. All right. So again, I mean, I don't know if that's real or not, but the story that I got from that was these robots are doing their thing. You have the kids rise up from the background, which are the humanoid, right? So you have humanoid robots and then you have humans. And I think that this is showing a battle between them, a progression of the relationship between humans and the robots. It starts out, we're like, hey, look, we made these robots. Look at what they're doing and all this. And then it turns into them fighting the humans. And you see them actually engaged in hand-to-hand combat when their leader shows up, right? One rises, he's the leader, he's the big guy. And then from there, the robots start fighting the humans. Then I don't really know, who you declare a winner or loser, but something comes up where now all of a sudden that battle has come to an end and we have a society where humans embrace the robots. And you have a cohesive relationship there at that point. I don't know. That was really creepy. But also the fact, just looking at what those robots are capable of doing, that's insane. But let me leave you guys with a good note. This is from David Gillespie's fortnightly briefing, the bacon paradox. Bacon is good for you guys. Holy shit. No, CannCon, you can't be telling the truth. Yes. Bacon is good. The green truth. Here's the inconvenient fact that the clean eating lobby forgets to mention. Vegetables love nitrates. They soak up from the soil like a sponge. Beetroot, rocket, spinach, and yes, celery. They are all nitrate heavy weights. A 100-gram serving of rocket contains more nitrates than 5 kilograms of bacon or hot dogs. If nitrates were truly the toxic assassin we are told they are, a salad would be a suicide note. Yet nobody is protesting against spinach. We consider these vegetables superfoods. We blend them, we drink them, we feed them to our children. So why is the nitrate in bacon a killer, but the nitrate in beetroot is a hero? The molecule is identical. The body cannot tell the difference between a nitrate that came from a pig factory and a nitrate that came from a garden. This brings us to the great deli counter swindle. When you buy nitrate-free bacon, flip the packet over. Look at the ingredients. You will almost certainly see celery powder or cultured celery juice. This is not flavoring. It's a loophole. Manufacturers know that consumers are terrified of the word sodium nitrate, so they stopped adding it. Instead, they take celery, which is naturally loaded with nitrates, dry it, concentrate it, and dump it into the meat. It performs the exact same chemical function. So let's jump down here. Where did it... Basically, okay, here it is. The real villain. So where does the fear of bacon come from? It came from a legitimate chemical reaction that happens under very specific circumstances. When nitrates are exposed to high heat in the presence of amino acids, they can form nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are indeed potentially carcinogenic. But here is the twist. Vegetables contain vitamin C and antioxidants. These compounds naturally block the formation of nitrosamines. They can turn the reaction off, but meat does not naturally have vitamin C. This is why standard cured meats usually have vitamin C or sodium erythorbate added to them. Okay. So long story short, eat your bacon. Just don't burn it to a crisp. Okay. You can cook it. You can cook it pretty good, but don't burn it to a crisp. And that is your health tip for the day. I love bacon, so I was really excited. I wanted to end on that note because I love bacon. Love bacon. Can't get enough bacon. All right, guys, so keep your eyes on Iran this weekend. Apparently, the mainstream media is freaking out, thinking President Trump is going to start a major war with Iran this weekend. The guy who just got done with the Institute, the International Board of Peace, the replacement, in my opinion, to not just NATO, but the United Nations, bringing peace throughout the world. But somehow we're going to start World War III or something, a major war with Iran this weekend. It's so stupid. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, or I hope I am wrong. No, I hope I'm not wrong, but I could be wrong. But there's nothing in the world that shows that President Trump will start a major war with Iran. It is totally counterintuitive to everything that he's represented to us for the last 10 years. So I'm not too worried about it, but everybody else is. So smash that thumbs up. Let me get into Rumble Rants. Did I pull them up? I did not pull them up because I'm dumb. Oh, here we go. I did the same thing I always do. Huck Fillery dropping my pledge for, let me do this here. Dropping my pledge for Friday's Daily, thinking of starting another pledge for Ash if she can avoid all 7 George Carlin's words you can never say. However, I don't really want her to stop. So me and Ash have a bet that she can only use the swear words that my wife came up with on Alpha Make Sandwiches. Or not came up with, but shared on the Idioms of the Week segment. And Ash has failed royally at that. So I'm going to have to get on her about that and yell at her and tell her that she needs to get it together for next week. I'll give her a get out of jail free card and I'll let her start next week. And maybe we need to put some muscle behind that bet and put a bet out there, like an actual bet, like Alphas Make Sandwiches, right? It can lead to another show on Badlands. Baker 468, great show that you smile. I don't know. Happy face. Thank you, Baker. Appreciate that. Artsy Joan, Brian, how much of the population here in the USA do you think are anti-America? Wow. I think it's a smaller faction than we believe. I just think we all have different ideas for America. And I think if your ideas aren't coming true, you hate it. And if your ideas are coming to fruition, you think that too many people hate it. I don't think as many people hate America as we believe, especially citizens. I think it's single-digit % of people that actually hate America. Now, people that might hate MAGA, people that might hate the Democrats, like all of that infighting bullshit, that's a bigger number. So, yeah. G. Fontes, Feinstein's chief of staff, was one of Nancy Pelosi's daughters, not the independent movie maker at J6. Both are unlikely to be future billionaires. Both are likely to be future billionaires. Thanks, Nancy. Unsure if she kept her job for Senator Schiff. I did not know that. It's not surprising, though. All that California politics, baby. It's all an incestuous cesspool of incest. An incestuous cesspool of incest. Artsy Joe. In Kennesaw and Little Bern, Georgia, Cobb County, development happening, and developers are calling it the Gaza Strip. I did see this. Proud to be creating Muslim cult areas. Our government letting us down. Hush, hush, too late. I did see this. Here in my Georgia county, if you reach 65, you are exempt from school taxes once you apply for that exemption. Hey, that's a good thing. Kitsko, sorry I'm late, was busy arguing with moronic, overvaxxed, and underinformed seniors in Englewood. By the way, I'm a friend from Port Charlotte too, Can. I know. Kitsko's awesome. We tried to help Kitsko. Was it your car, Kitsko, that you were locked out of at the Badlands event there? I can't remember. I think it was your car that we tried to get into and I didn't have any tools. If I had like the right tools, man, we were trying so hard. Ginger, because, oh my God, I just typed Pale Horse into the E-files, Epstein files, and it's a classified operation. I'm going to have to do this. I used Ian Carroll's theweb.io. It's free. Just type in the word and it tells you everything with sources. Okay, so he did get that up and running. Theweb.io. I'm going to check that out. Thank you. And I don't think I have any more Rumble rants. I think one just came in. Aeolus, thanks, Brian, and make California great again. Man, that would be fantastic. But wait till Alpha leaves first. Wait till Alpha leaves first, and then you can make it great. Because I'd love to have Alpha out here in Florida. And if we could ever get Ash to leave too, like we could. John thinks all the Badlanders are going to Badlandia somewhere in North Dakota. Nope, Badlandia is going to be in Florida, guys. Come on down. We've got a great group of Badlanders in Florida. Yeah, Jackie, I remember that. I was in Lakeland. Yep. That's where, Lakeland. Yeah. That was at the Badlanders meetup there. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Please smash that thumbs up. Oh, Jackie, you and camera moving. Come on down. Come on down. I hope you guys, that's the one thing is Florida's so big. I hope you guys choose like down here in South Florida. That'd be awesome to be like around like-minded individuals. That'd be great. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Stay frosty. God bless each and every one of you. God bless America. Make the deep state motherfuckers pay for this.
Time you read